69 of This Week in Grip. 69, dude. Hey, just want to remind you, go down to the bottom and like the video. Hit that thumbs up button for me, dude. That'll really help us out with getting the video presented more often on YouTube, get the info out there on grip. There's lots of people talking about grip these days. Brian Shaw, Jujimufu, Brian Alsrew, and lots of other dudes putting up videos on their channel. So let's try to take advantage of that momentum and show them that there's actually a podcast about grip. Go ahead and hit that like video for us. Don't be afraid to subscribe either. I'm currently on a push for 10,000 subscribers at about 9,400 right now. Just go ahead and do that for me, dude. Just a few days ago, we posted episode 68, where we talked about some follow-up issues on the Rich Williams episode and also discussed plate flipping. So if you haven't watched that, go ahead and go through that now and leave a comment below about your thoughts on plate flipping. Also, some other cool episodes have come out. We're trying to do more episodes more often. Seems to be that you like the shorter episodes, so we're trying to do that. And we also interviewed Joe Sullivan for episode 67, where he talked about the Cross Canada Grip Challenge. Also, I'm continuing the Q&As, some of them even with my daughter, so make sure that you send in any questions that you have. You don't have to send anything in, brother. Just leave a comment below the video today, whatever question that you might have, and I'll try to cover it sometime. Alan, how you been doing the last few days, bro?
Real good, real good. Things are moving along. Getting excited about the upcoming King Kong competition. So, how's everything on your end?
Good. How many? I believe I saw Joel Dirks is going to plan on coming to your location again this year. Have you had any other people give you a confirmation that they'll be coming?
There's one other guy that's actually going to be coming a week beforehand. He might bring down just a couple other people with him. He isn't going to be able to make it on the official King Kong date. So he reached out to me to see if it could be done earlier. I contacted Eric Rusin, and he didn't have any issue with that at all. So, yeah, a guy will be down here on the 20th, possibly him and a couple others. So far, just Joel Dirks. He indicated he might be having a couple other people. I think Todd Conan mentioned he's going to try to make it up this way. So not anticipating a huge turnout, but, I guess if, I've done it, 2 years now, 2 years maybe. The numbers have consistently gone up, so we're at least trending in the right direction anyway. So. Well,
that's cool that someone reached out to you and said that they wanted to but couldn't come, and they're going to allow them to come the week prior. So I saw that discussed also in the Northwest Grip Enthusiasts page on Facebook, where John Clark Eklund kind of started talking about not being able to come for the official date, and someone else asked if it was possible to do it ahead of time. So what did Eric say about that? Was there did it all have to be arranged ahead of time, or is there a protocol for that, Alan?
No, I asked him. I explained the situation, and I asked if I could run it on the 20th and also on the 27th. I said the competitor had come down the previous year, and I really didn't want to turn him away. I don't think that's the way to move forward with anything. And right. And Eric said, hey, he didn't have a problem with it if I didn't have an issue setting up for the competition twice, and I don't. I'm just carrying the crap out of my basement outside, and I'll just leave it there after that. So yeah. Really not an issue at all. Gives me a chance to work up to some openers in a good format, beforehand. So. Yeah, he was very accommodating. I wasn't so sure he'd be down with doing it. I figured he'd say something like, well, if you're going to do it a week early, that's kind of when you should be running it with everybody else, which would have been understandable. But no, I think that's kind of flexibility we really need if we want to keep moving this stuff forward. So yeah, that was a good thing.
Especially if it's someone with your flexibility. I know not all people would be able to do that, but if you've got the flexibility to do that and you can welcome one of these guys back, that's awesome. So I'm sure he said something like you have to keep the results under wraps and you can't share those, stuff like that, right?
That actually didn't come up, but that was an assumption I made because it is a in the dark thing. So I was going to, this hasn't come up with the other individual yet, but I was going to let him know not to bother mentioning, and to specifically not mention what he did, what he accomplished, anything like that. So it was going to be between us. And as a matter of fact, when the other people show up on the day of the competition, they won't be aware of what his results were either. It's not gonna let it affect anybody's stuff. So it'll be
cool.
In as professional a manner as I can do it, I guess, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And this is definitely not by any means the first time this has happened. As I recall, I want to say, oh man, what year was it? I think it was the last year. Pretty sure it was the last year they ran World's Strongest Hands. I was going to be on a family vacation the date of the actual competition, so I ran my leg a week beforehand also. And that was the year where Luke actually wasn't going to compete. I think he might have been injured or something like that. And the only person that showed up from out of town was Rich. Oh, gosh, how am I possibly forgetting his last name? He's the guy that comes to Gripmas all the time, and he helped out Andrew Pankey with the Mighty Mouse filming. And yes, exactly, Rich Cottrell. And it worked real well. Just sent in the results a week late, and everything went smooth. So see no reason why we couldn't keep doing that, especially if someone has the flexibility in the schedule like you do. So thanks for being open to doing that, Alan. And if anybody else needs that kind of assistance, then reach out to your promoter and run it by them. Maybe they would be able to do the same thing for you, and it would enable you to get into the contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else going on, Alan, or should we go right into the topic for today?
Oh, wait. Did you see our hashtags up to 2009 now?
I
Instagram?
did not see that. That's fantastic.
It's taking a bump. Yeah. I noticed it seems like our videos, the shows are getting, in relation to views and likes, it looks like those are coming right along. Staying about that percentage that you were talking about you like. So a lot more interaction, getting a lot of those. Even the show we did last week with Joe Sullivan had looked like there was some decent feedback on there. So good stuff. At least we're reaching more people, or at least a consistent group. That's awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like you said, we try to get at least 10% of the likes compared to the views. So when we get 400 views, we like 40 likes. And commenting is also very good also. And I saw guys like Jesse Pignon and a couple other dudes were like, I'm not watching the video right now, but I just wanted to come in and say, thanks for doing the shows. I think Jesse said something about the more frequent shows were cool. And it sounds like a lot of people, I was just talking to Jason Gillen this morning on Facebook Messenger, and he was listening to one of the most recent episodes while he was training. So that's pretty cool. It's neat that we're able to have an impact in that regard as well. So if you're listening to this right now and you're lifting, then put some chalk on your hands and lift that bitch up. Let's go. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. So the topic for today was Jujimufu. And if you don't know who that is, then just search that on YouTube, and you'll see that he's got almost 500,000 subscribers. And he was a guest at Peak Strength and Fitness on Tuesday, the 18th of September. So by now, you will have seen, probably, if you watched any of his videos recently, you probably would have seen that he put up videos from my gym. So we were going to talk about that experience. It was quite awesome.
Yeah, I am dying to hear about that. I was real excited to find out that he was coming up to your place. And I was curious to find out just how strong this guy really was once he gets put in a room with a whole bunch of different grip equipment, and even gets a little bit of proper instruction on some things. Because I tell you, you watch some of his YouTube videos, and especially when it comes to using grippers and things like that, you see this guy putting a number 3 in his hand and just about shutting it. But the way he holds it, it's like, man, this guy could be flirting with a 3.5 if he did this thing a little bit different,
Yes.
And so
I told him that. So Alan was one of the first people I told, because believe it or not, the way that this started was we were thinking about who could we talk to about coming on the show. And I was, shortly after that conversation, or maybe during the conversation, I clicked on one of Jujimufu's videos, and went down to the description box, and sure enough, dude, there's an email address for contact right down in the description box. It's been there forever, and I didn't even know it. Can you believe that?
I'd never seen that either. Yeah, no, I had never seen that either.
Yeah, I tried to. So after the Philly contest, like a couple days afterwards, I sent him a message on Instagram, and as far as I know, to this day, he still hasn't even read it. So he probably gets so many messages that he probably doesn't even use that as a method to communicate with people anymore. So I was like at a loss. I'm like, I don't know how to get a hold of this guy. And then I just happened to go down in the description box, and sure enough, his email's right there. I sent him an email, and I was actually inviting him to be on This Week in Grip with us. And I said, hey, we have this podcast. I do it with Alan Heineck on YouTube. If you're ever interested, maybe we could do a show. And, the video that he had put out, I remember now, was the one where he was getting his arm worked on by the art specialist or whatever it was. And I said, I see that you have some forearm pain. I help people with that all the time. If you're ever up this way, you can stop in. I'll go over some stuff with you, things like that, like recovery methods. And I have the Hawk grips that I could work on them with. And, dude, believe it or not, he goes, well, we're going to be in New York City on Tuesday, and we're going to be driving up to Toronto that night. It doesn't look like you're that too much far out of the way. We could probably stop in and do some grip videos. I was like, holy crap. Are you serious? I couldn't even believe it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Like, I want to say it was the Friday before he was here that I messaged him. And so, like, I didn't even sleep at all that whole weekend. I was so excited about it. I feel for anybody that's got elbow pain, forearm pain, because I've had it off and on for well over a decade. I started out doing stuff wrong. Yeah, man, and I've had to deal with it so many times, and it seems like every single time that I've had it, I've had to fix it a different way. So I've got, like, my own, toolbox in my back pocket that I can pull out and use with people sometimes, and a lot of times it works. So, somebody that's done so much for promoting awareness of grip, I felt like the need to offer him some help, and I'm glad I did, because it ended up working out real well. So, so he said, well, I bet we could, so if you look at the route from New York City to Toronto, at some point you got to hit Route 81 North. And, dude, I'm only 45 minutes from 81. So it wasn't even that far out of his way in order to come this way. So it was like set and like already set up, by, everything was just perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They were doing the thing called the OK Tour, which I don't know what the story is with that name, but it works. And I just saw the video. They were in New York City in Central Park that morning, and they thought they would get in town around 6. Well, I guess that thing that they did took a lot longer to complete than they thought. So 6 turned into like 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Luke came down at 2 on Tuesday to, just kind of get ready, and he was going to help me put a new cover on an incline bench and stuff like that. So he walks in. I'm like, dude, I got some news for you. They're going to be late. They're going to be like 2 hours late. He's like, oh, because he had some other stuff he could have been doing. But they ended up getting there about 7:15, and they pulled up in a. I had no idea what they drove in. For all I knew, they had a big ass, SUV, and I figured they had a special driver that they had taking them all over the countryside. Who knows? No, they have like a cargo van. Yeah.
Well,
it's a cargo van, and all the equipment that they take, the plates, like the bumpers, the loading pins, the grip handles, all that stuff is right in the back, right along with their backpacks. And then I think they have like a cooler in there for all their food. And they said that they have all the stops and switching drivers. That's all planned out. They have it all. It's all planned, dude. It's really well organized. I was pretty impressed. So they got there. We whipped up a thing. We whipped up a thing of chili. My wife cooked it all the night before, and then I had it in a crock pot, all warm for them when they got there. And they must have gotten hungry, or they saw Sheets or something like that, and they just couldn't pass it by. The reputation for Sheets. You familiar with Sheets, Alan?
No, I'm not at all, actually. What is that?
Oh, my gosh, dude. Well, you remember when you were in New Jersey for SJ4, do you remember seeing any big, like, gas stations, like overdone gas stations called Wawa?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I remember that one in particular.
So Wawa is like the poor man's Sheets. Okay, Sheets is a gas station. You can go in there and you can get any type of food that you want to. It's basically like a mini supermarket. You can get a sandwich made, a sub. You can buy a pizza. All that stuff, dude. You can buy fireworks. You can get a sleeve of Skull, whatever you want. Sheets has got it. You know what I mean? And then I'm pretty sure that Wawa tried to, jump on that bandwagon and steal some of their thunder and kind of copied it and do it in New Jersey now. But Sheets is the place to go, brother. We even have one here in Wysox, which is the next little town over. It's definitely pretty sweet. So probably they heard about Sheets, and when they were driving by saw one and they decided to eat. So they never had any of my chili until after everything was done. And they got out of there about 11:15 that night and still had 2.5 hours drive to go until they got to like the bed and breakfast or hotel that they were going to up in New York somewhere. So it's quite the trip for them, man. I don't know if I could do that kind of travel, man. That's what I used to do with Smitty back when I was like 20, 24, 25, 26.
That'd be miserable.
Driving overnight to the Arnold
van?
Classic. Yeah, dude. I wish we had a cargo van. We were either in his what did he have? He had some car, some Ford four-door car, and I had a Ford Explorer, and we'd go places. We took my dad's truck one time. The damn broke down on the way back from Rick Walker's house. We did like a 2-hour grip workout out in a Sheets parking lot in the sun. Got all blistered up, man. We'd already trained for like 3 hours with Rick Walker. We drove overnight to the Arnold Classic. 4 of us slept in I slept. I fell asleep. I guess they couldn't sleep because I was snoring, but at least I was well rested. It was still a pretty hard trip on me though. So, man, yeah, I can't imagine doing that at this age.
Those things, they're not built. A cargo van isn't built for comfort. That's for like hauling furniture. So that's got to be miserable in itself. Not to mention, load that thing up with weight plates and stuff like that. What do they get, like 3 miles per gallon? That's got to be terrible.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we were doing something. I think we were just. My dad was there. My dad came over. He hadn't seen the gym yet, so he stopped down, and then this white van pulls up, and like, again, I don't know what he's driving, and I'm like, who's that? Because nobody would be pulling in at 7:15 on Main Street in Wyalusing. Nobody's going to be there. And Luke looked out and said, well, it's North Carolina plates. Where's he from? And I was like, North Carolina, bro. So sure enough, that was him. So, so it got started. They used the bathroom and stuff, got a drink of water, and we started plugging away.
So is he the first person to ever do a backflip in your gym? He pulled that one off?
If he did a backflip, I didn't see it. I'm telling you, I did not see him do a backflip. He didn't. He didn't do any of his tricking.
No tricking.
I didn't see any of that stuff. It was business from the start, and I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a wonderful time. Him and Tom are both really freaking funny, and I had a fantastic time. But it was like they came in, they got ready, we got stuff out, and we were shooting videos, man.
Tom is starting to grow on me. When I first started following Juji's channel, I wasn't too sure about him. I didn't see a lot, but he's got once you kind of start paying attention, he's got a good sense of humor about him. He's a lot of fun. He brings a lot to Juji's show, or their show, really, in the end. It's
Yeah.
He's a lot of fun to watch. Yep, real, it's interesting. They are such a perfect team. Almost opposites, but they are a perfect team.
Right, yeah. We were like, no, you guys been friends for like, you know, I kind of figured they were like high school buddies and stuff like that, but they really weren't. They told us the story. I can't repeat the whole thing, not because I was told not to, but because it was so damn late and I was destroyed. I can't remember everything, but they kind of like met because of YouTube. They met because of the, you know, channel and needing a cameraman, I guess. So I don't know, the story might be out there how they met, but I didn't know it. It was pretty cool. But two really cool dudes, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So what kind of stuff do you guys knock out?
Okay, so, you know, and at this point everybody's probably seen the videos, but what we did was we basically shot 2 videos. One was like a more basic video, and we put Tom through some technique stuff. So, you know, I remember telling you that he was coming, and you said, dude, you got to show him how to set a gripper. And I was like, yes, yes, we are going to show him, because every time I see him closing a gripper with that crappy form, I want to puke, basically, because I know, I'm like, this guy can close a 3. He just hasn't yet. So, and there wasn't really an opportunity to, like, I would have loved to gone up and say, John, you got to do it this way in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? But, dude, there was no time. In between events, he was going across the walkway, and he was doing, you know, his appearance deal and doing pictures with people and doing flips out in the walkway and stuff. It was crazy. There was no time to get with the man. So, yeah, that's one of the first things that we did was grippers in this how-to video. And I forget what Tom ended up closing. He's got some small hands on him, but Juji's got like decent-sized hands. And we showed Tom everything, and I kind of looked over and I see Juji like getting twitchy and shit. Like, I could just tell that he wanted to give this stuff a try. So we got to a point, he's like, okay, I'm shutting the camera off and I got to try this out. And Luke took him over there, grabbed a 3, and he took it down to like a credit card depth. And I don't even think he had chalked his hands yet. So we got his hands chalked. We walked him through a little bit more, and sure enough, smashed a number 3 gripper with proper set form.
That had to happen. Yes, that had to happen. No question. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was a huge concern of mine. Good, gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we should never see him miss that again. Awesome.
I believe so. Yes, I believe he did it a couple times, so I think it's pretty solid now. So I think he'll be all right. Tom, you know, didn't end up closing a 3 or anything, but he showed some definite improvement, and we went over it in detail, man. Like, we didn't just say, it wasn't just like a 30-second thing, do it like this. Like, we kept like, no, Tom, stop, do it like this. We kept repositioning the gripper. We kept showing him how to do it, and, you know, apply the proper tension throughout his body and all that stuff. So it was like a lot of repetition. So I think anybody that doesn't know how to close grippers with the proper set that's used in competition, I think anybody that watches this video and sees that will be able to move a couple steps ahead, at least in their technique-wise, because we really went over it in pretty good detail.
Awesome.
And then I think we ended up doing like some rolling thunder and then some pinch block stuff, and we actually used Luke's arm assassin pinch block that you can, the adjustable pinch block where you can move where the bolt sits, and you can either do a 3-inch or a 4-inch block pinch.
Oh yeah,
so,
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, so we went over some of that, and like I said, we did some rolling thunder stuff. Because, you know, Tom has, I've seen, maybe not Tom, but I've seen people in Juji's videos where, like, they stand and they're, like, standing away from the stack of plates. Like, you got to stand, like, basically over top of the plates in order to pull it in as straight a line as possible. So we covered that stuff with them, you know, being aware of the the carabiner so that was set up where it wasn't going to work against you, things along those lines.
I'd caught a couple of those in their clips. Yep.
Yeah. We ironed a bunch of that stuff out. And I can't really think of anything else. Like, it was probably the better part of 2 hours that we shot Tom's video, and they were there for about 3 hours. So, I guess a little over 3 hours. And so we wrapped that one up, and then we started the next video. And the next video was where, so Tom was the star of the first video, and then Juji was the star of the second video. So, and then that one took an hour and a half to do as well. So
now I'm looking at their channel here. I haven't seen these videos yet. Have you seen them update and I'm just not finding it? Or
no, I think so. At the recording of this show that you and I are doing right now, they have not been posted up. But I'm sure by the time this one goes out, that video will be there. Yeah.
Okay.
So because I don't know how many they shot that morning, but the one, I believe the one that they put out it was either today or yesterday, where they're in Central Park, that's where they were the morning of when they came to our place. So
okay.
They're coming, and they said it would be about a week. So that's about right.
Sure. Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the way that the second video went is it started off with they called a candy store intro. So Judy was walking around the gym, and I had all the grip stuff down there. That's actually why I moved all my grip stuff, or not all of it, but a lot of the grip stuff, pretty much all the grip stuff that's down there, I moved down there between the time where he said he was coming and the time that they actually walked in. So before that, I was doing all my grip workouts at my house. So we moved it all out into the main area where we do the main, all the body training for my athletes and adults. And they kind of walked through it, and he said, "Oh, this looks cool. We'll do inch dumbbell." And then, "Oh, this looks cool. We'll do some anvil stuff." And then he decided he wanted to do a phone book tear. So
awesome.
we start out the. You're not going to believe how this ends. Please help me remember to do how this ends, because otherwise I'll forget about it. So we start out, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. So we start out with inch dumbbell, okay? And people don't freaking believe me. They think I'm some kind of snake oil salesman when I tell them there's a way to grip the inch dumbbell. So Jujimufu has tried several times with the inch and has never lifted it, never deadlifted it. I think he's probably broken the back globe off and maybe both globes off a few times.
I've seen some of those clips, yes. Yep.
Right. But what he does is what I call the plop. He basically just plops his hand on there, squeezes really hard, and lifts. And that's not how you want to do it. So I showed him exactly how to do it. I believe I even said, "Is the camera rolling?" Because just grabbing his hand, you know that he has the potential to lift the inch dumbbell. His hand is big enough. He's got a good-sized thumb on him, and his handshake indicates, just like in the show 66, where episode 66, where we talk about handshake power. You can tell he's got some strength in that hand. So I made sure the camera was rolling. I showed him how to chalk his hand. I showed him how to put the hand on the dumbbell, and sure enough, dude, he lifted the inch dumbbell to lockout.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great.
So
great
which
moment.
bell was it? Your hard bell?
No, I wish it was my hard bell. It was the one that is definitely the easiest one, without a shadow of a doubt. It is the easiest one that I have. But he was able to lift it, and I think he got it with each hand separately. I'm pretty sure he lifted it with each hand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, even an easy inch is a hard inch.
Yeah.
Should have that out there right away.
Right. So, and it wasn't. So the conditions were not optimal. So actually, in my opinion, optimal conditions for lifting this particular inch dumbbell is when it's really, really humid, or if you take the inch dumbbell out and set it in the grass so that the moisture of the grass kind of absorbs into the handle. You know how the handle gets wet sometimes when it's in a moist atmosphere? Have you ever witnessed that?
Okay. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. Yep.
Right, and then if you chalk the handle very heavily when it's moist like that, it's actually much easier for me to lift it. So it was not like that whatsoever. I was running the air conditioner in my gym, which I never do. I never run the air conditioner because I like to sweat, man. I like to have all those toxins just pouring out of my sweat pores when I'm lifting. So I never, and I do that favor for my lifters as well, make them sweat. And I never run the air conditioner. So, but I had that thing pumping. There was no excuses, man. I did not want something to get wet and them not be able to lift it because of that. But, because that handle is easier, or that inch dumbbell is easier to lift when the handle's wet, it was totally dry, and there's just no excuses. He lifted it with his brute force combined with the technique I showed him. And I think I may have flipped out a little bit more than he did, because I was pumped, dude. Like, that's what I wanted to see. That was more of a goal of mine, getting him to lift the inch, than getting him to close the number 3 was.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. But okay, cool.
And that's probably a reflection on how little I really care about grippers, you know what I mean?
Sure,
like, I think inch lifting is much more cool. So
I think Ches just unfriended you on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah, it might be the case. So he did that, and then I would have loved to take him over to the blob. In fact, he may have lifted the blob.
Oh, I was going to ask about this. I've seen him struggling with his hexes, man.
Yeah,
he's got it in him.
Yeah, he's definitely, dude. I don't remember. You'd have to ask Luke. I can't remember, man. I honestly can't remember. It was a blur. It was like I was so excited, man. You know what I mean?
So much of his power is so raw. It's untapped.
Yeah.
He just needs the little bit of extra know-how, and then it's just there. Yeah.
Well, I suppose there's a case to be made where if you lift stuff with bad technique, that you'll get strong to a point where when you find out the technique, it's that much easier.
That's such a thing. Even Aaron Corcoran in his training logs talks about, like, closing grippers with disadvantaged techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if a dude like that, he's no dummy, is doing those things, right. It obviously has some transfer. So, dude, I suppose you get it back.
Look, Aaron Corcoran is one of the smartest guys in grip, bar none. So, if he's doing something, it's probably a good idea that you try it too. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit that he's made statements like that. So then, what else did we do, man? So I think we did some anvil stuff, but I think it was like, dude, it was almost no time at all devoted to anvils compared to all the other stuff that we did that night. Like, we did almost no anvil stuff, and I tried to pinch. I was hoping that the adrenaline would allow me to pinch the anvil by the face and lift it, but it just wasn't going to happen. I didn't have it.
Didn't they break out into their AHA nose torque or anything like that? Get you that extra edge, or were they all out, or what?
Never.
You got that like black bottle of nose torque they normally have, like,
no,
in a holster.
I wish we would have. It never came out. We never even discussed it, dude.
I
skipped over dude. I can't believe I skipped over this, bro. Before we went to the anvil, Luke goes over to the inch and he's like, "You don't even have to bother looking. I'm never able to lift this anymore." And he grabbed it and picked it up like 6 inches. And we're like, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, that was like the first, maybe even the second feat where it was like the camera wasn't even rolling and he just about did it. So they turned the camera on and you could see, like, Luke gets all, like, nervous and stuff, like, oh no, now the camera's rolling. I'm going to Eli it. Like, we have this friend Eli that'll lift like 500 pounds on some crazy implement. Nobody's ever done it before. And then we'll turn the camera on. He can't even break it off the ground. He's done it like 100 times over the time that I've known him. But sure enough, dude, he totally smoked the inch dumbbell. He lifted it right up, no problem. And it was the first time that he lifted that particular inch dumbbell to lockout. The only time he's ever lifted an inch was in January of 2017 when he did it at Paul's. And in that in Paul's garage, it was like perfect scenario.
Super, he hasn't picked one since?
He has not. No, he has not lifted one to lockout since. He's famous for walking in, getting out of his truck, walking into the garage, maybe not even chalking, just grabbing it and lifting it 6 inches off the ground, and then it's like he's shot. He's not able to do it at all anymore. But he was able to do it last Tuesday.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations to him then. Yeah.
Yep.
That's well, I tell you, because when you finally hit the one, it's not like, obviously not all inches are created equal, but if there's one you've never lifted, even if you've hit, say, 10 of them, you're going to want to lift that one,
Yeah.
So good for
absolutely.
him. Yeah, congratulations.
Yep. And I think we're about ready to move on. I was like, well, guys, do you care if I try something real quick? Because at this point, I really hadn't done anything, and I was itching to do something. And believe it or not, we arranged it to get the gold inch back. Do you remember seeing some videos of me putting up some videos of an inch dumbbell with one that was colored gold?
That was a Living Legends belt, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yep, that came from Living Legends, and Luke traded an arm wrestling table to Cody Burns for that inch dumbbell. So Storm Chelino has had that inch dumbbell for quite a while, I guess since this winter. I think he got it from us in February of this year. So he's had it for a while, and I asked if he was done with it or if we could borrow it back or whatever, and he said, hey, it's your dumbbell, you can have it. So Luke was coming back from his 1-year anniversary trip and swung through Stormstown and grabbed it. So we had 2-inch dumbbells there, and I told the guys, I was like, I've been thinking about doing this ever since we started talking, and I think with you guys here, it'll give me a little extra pep and adrenaline. So do you care if I set up a double-inch farmer's walk? And they're like, yeah, no problem. Go ahead. So I used my original inch, which is the easy inch, and then the gold inch, and I was able to carry them easily over 20 feet. Easily the longest double-inch farmer's walk I've ever done. When I dropped those things, dude, the whole entire building shook. Like, I'm used to training on a platform built on top of concrete, and this is like the wood, the wood structure, the rafters, in the basement, and then the floor's laid over that. So when you drop something, dude, the building literally shakes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was crazy. And I'm still feeling it, man. Like, I don't know what I did to my right hip, but, like, my piriformis on my right hip is, like, on fire, and I've got, like, sciatica. And I've had it ever since that night, like, because we weren't warmed up. I mean, I wasn't warmed up for that at all. My hips weren't. So I'm still feeling it. Like, just standing here, my right foot's going numb. So hopefully that'll clear up. But yeah. But it was worth it for a 20-foot farmer's walk, because it's definitely the furthest I've ever taken them.
PRC.
And then we moved on,
That's
man.
Awesome.
Yeah. We went on. We did some Napalm's Nightmare, and I did the thing where, when someone fails, then you go in and do it 5 times. It was like the Ode Haugen, I don't know if you've heard about that, but from Philadelphia, once the competition was over on the Country Crush, like Ode walked up onto the stage from his judging seat and hit like 5 reps with the top weight in the contest. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
So those guys
seems like
were
such a nice guy, and then you hear that.
Yeah, rub it in. So I had to do the same thing. So they were working up on the Napalm's Nightmare, and I don't know how much weight was on there. Let's say it was 400 pounds. No, it was probably
there we go.
Yeah, it was probably like 350. So whatever it was, Luke and Jujimufu couldn't lift it. I went up there and hit it 5 times. Then I went over and did a deadlift with, I think, the gold inch with each hand. So I kind of, came in as the topper on that one. Man, and then we tried, dude. We tried our hardest to teach Jujimufu how to tear a phone book, and it just wasn't happening, dude. And by the end of the thing, yes, and this is the thing that I wanted to make sure you reminded me to tell you. Tom was able to tear a phone book that Juji Was not able to.
Yeah, there is such a tremendous amount of technique in that.
Yes.
And if it's not spot on, it doesn't matter what kind of horsepower you got. It isn't going to happen. And
That's
likewise,
right,
if you've got it dialed in, it comes apart. It's like ripping up just one piece of paper. You know, it's that kind of difference. Yeah. Well, Juji's never going to live that one down.
No.
And you got that on film, right?
Oh, I mean, unless they do editing and take it out.
No, there's no way he's going to edit that out.
Right. I didn't film anything. My camera never got turned on. So I have no record of anything. So if this stuff don't come out, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. But
he couldn't rip it. I mean, he couldn't even cut it.
He came close, but what he would do is he would set it up, and like, you know how I teach it is like you pull on it, but you don't actually try to break the book until it's set properly. So if he would set it, we'd be like, yep, that's it. And then he would relax and then try to do it from the relaxed position.
I know what he lost.
Spoil the book. Yes, he would spoil the book every single time. And I couldn't even get the damn thing to rip very well after he was like bending the binding and compromising the whole book. So
did you show him how to pop it at least?
Well, dude, I didn't want to, because I didn't want to put that out there, because I knew that, you know, potentially hundreds of thousands of people would be seeing it, and I didn't even want that to come up. So
that's actually a good call, because that's not even tearing.
Yeah, we went with what is considered the accepted method for ripping a phone book in the old time strongman community. So
sure.
that's what I showed them. So
cool.
Yeah.
How about cards?
We just ran out of time, dude. I had 50 decks of cards down there. I mean, if I'm out driving around and we see a yard sale, I go and I say, "Are you selling any decks of cards?" And I probably bought 50 decks of cards like that over the years, and most of them I haven't torn. So I've got a whole box of cards that I've either bought at the store or yard sales or whatever, and they're just sitting down there. So I took them all down there. I took a bunch of steel bars, grade 5 bolts, 60-penny nails, timber ties. I had them all down there, because that was one thing that I hadn't seen in Jujimufu's videos, was like the old time strongman stuff. I'm told that there are videos where he tries steel bending, but I have not seen those videos. But we didn't get to it. We just ran out of time. You know, it was getting to be.
Sucks.
It was after 10 o'clock. And we wrapped up that video. We got some dinner. We polished off all that chili. My daughter was so upset. She wanted to try chili for the first time. She never had it. She
really?
was so upset when because we don't eat a lot of chili for whatever reason. It's
so does your wife have like a secret recipe?
No, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, you know, it's like tomato sauce, tomato paste, and burger.
Oh, okay. She doesn't do like, when you said your wife was making chili, I thought like she was one of those like chili cook-off type. My wife makes a pretty badass chili. That's what I'm saying. Like there's like chili cook-offs around here they do for like fundraisers for like fire departments. I thought that was like your angle or something. Okay. Cool.
No, yeah, I've heard of those too, but we just, for whatever reason, we don't usually eat chili all that often. So, no, it's so JC's never had it. But, boy, she was brokenhearted, man. I felt so bad when there was no chili for her. I didn't know that she wanted some. She's like Wednesday night for dinner, she's like, "Well, aren't we having chili, Daddy?" And I'm like, "Well, there's no chili left." And she went and she even got upset about it. So. Oh,
I bet you just lost the daddy title. Now you're just going to be dad. That's a tough one to come to terms with, man. Yeah, I don't get the daddy very often anymore. Mine have kind of outgrown that. I'm just dad now. That's like almost borderline worthless. I'm to that point where now I don't know anything, you know.
Oh boy,
so,
yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure I'll be there soon enough.
Yeah. Well, you might wanna whip up a little chili then. Try to just for self-preservation.
Yeah, we were talking about it. So.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, never live it down. I'm trying to think, man. I think those are the highlights. Like we probably, I mean, I know we did some hub stuff and things like that, but I even brought like a set of hub plates down in case he wanted to try to do some.
I was going to ask about that too. Oh, never.
Yeah.
That's too bad. That's too bad. You get hamstrung by time like that.
Right. Yeah. I think it was, it's like domino effect when that first thing in the morning takes longer than you expect, and then you got a 3-4 hour drive. I mean, it just dominoes. I told him how we used to do the World Series of Grip Challenge, alongside Strongman events and stuff like that. And, so I brought all the stuff that went along with that. That was like the blob, the inch, 45-pound hub, and number 3 gripper. So, I took a lot of stuff down. Blobzilla, that didn't ever come out. But we did talk about the King Kong of Grip, and I believe that he is going to go to Gil Goodman's place for King Kong of Grip.
Well, that is awesome. Yeah. That would be a good matchup between those guys, actually. Between those two, they would that would be a good event. Yeah,
no doubt.
That'd make for some awesome videos. Did you pitch him Living Legends at all?
Never came up, dude. Never came up. But yeah, I mean, I certainly can. I mean, I still have.
Well, he'll find out. Yeah. Gotta let him know
about
that. It never
came up.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
because I had all the.
Like he had a. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it just sounds like it was an awesome. I mean, it must have made a dent on him. I tell you, you go from never lifting an inch to hitting it, shutting the 3. I mean, that's a big deal. Finally knocking those babies out. So that's got to stoke a fire a little bit. Nice.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, they were 2 really good guys. I had a great time, and they're welcome back anytime they want to. We don't even have to break the video cameras out. So if they end up swinging back this way, they're more than welcome to stop in.
Awesome. Man, that would have been amazing to be there for something like that. Yeah. Cool.
So I think that's about it. So hopefully the videos go well and they're popular and people like what they see.
Yeah,
good
I can't
opportunity.
Wait to come on. Yeah, awesome.
I don't know. Anything else, Alan?
No. You answered everything I was asking about. I wish things had lined up a little better. They could have spent a little more time there. Man, knocked out a few more things. But
that would be cool.
Yeah. No, I look forward to seeing those videos, though. Hopefully those come out soon. So they're posting. They post all the time. So don't know how they can do that being on the road like that. But sweet.
Yeah, they get her done. That's for sure. They got a pretty cool business going. That's for damn sure.
Nope. Awesome.
All right, cool, Alan. Good job. Go ahead and take the call away, man.
All right. Well, that is episode 69 of This Week in Grip. Everybody, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. It sounds like they had a great time when Juji and Tom were down. We'll be back next week with another one. We'll see you then.